Despite facing an array of domestic challenges and full blown international crises, Donald Trump is currently, in the words of a fairly stunned Fox News host, simply loitering around the grounds of the White House as though he had nothing better to do, having wrapped up a disastrous press conference in which Trump was both very triggered and at times ramblingly incoherent. Trump attacked repeatedly the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell for not lowering interest rates. He threatened to withhold federal assistance from California because of his petty partisan beef with Governor Gavin Newsom. He doubled down on his lie that the 2020 election was stolen from him, and he kept flirting with the notion of launching a direct military strike against Iran. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to play from this disastrous Trump press conference in which he's commemorating the erecting of 2 new flagpoles at the White House. But I want to start with this one here, in which I'm pretty sure it's Bill Hemmer from Fox News was stunned at what Donald Trump was doing with his time.
So not quite sure when this impromptu press conference is going to end, so we just want to hang for a lot of it. And we believe that the president could be loitering on the grounds of the White House for some time now. They are erecting 2.
Yeah, just loiter around. I mean, he has nothing better to do. I mean, honestly, now I think about it, that actually might be a better use of his time, because I don't know what's more dangerous, an engaged Donald Trump or a disengaged Donald Trump, given his incompetence and stupidity. It might be better to let whatever professionals are actually in the White House, to the extent that the Trump administration has any, to deal with this while somebody dangles car keys in front of Trump's face while he paws at it like a child. So there's that. Let's get into the press conference itself, because Trump said a number of unhinged things. We're going to start with this clip here.
You've been answered questions about whether you are moving closer, or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities. Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question? Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's so, everyone thought it was going to be the reverse. I didn't think so. And I was telling them, you got to do something. You got to negotiate. And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that. And they got hit. Remember 60 days? And then came the 60. 61 is going to become a very famous number. That was one hell of a hit, that first hit. That was one hell of a hit. Not sustainable, to be honest. That's where it ended. It ended on the first night. Yes.
Is it too late?
So there, Trump, number one, again, is flirting with the notion of launching a direct strike against Iran, not ruling it out, certainly. There's credible reporting, as we discussed in a video yesterday, that Trump is seriously considering doing just that, especially because he is very pleased with Fox News coverage praising both him and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the kind of war hawkish elements of the more traditional right-wing media on Fox News, which is what Trump watches in terms of media. He watches Fox News, not Tim Pool, not Steven Crowder, not the Daily Wire. It's still Fox, and there's a very hawkish element still on Fox. So this is persuading him to lean more in a more hawkish posture. Okay, so he's doing that. He's also suggesting that he worked with Netanyahu and the Israeli government to time it such that at the end of those 60 days, Trump basically gave the green light. And again, there's mixed reporting on this. He certainly knew in advance, but the extent to which he gave permission, that's a matter of some debate. But of course, he's trying to take credit for it. Here's another clip.
In this case, we had a lot of choices, putting it on that hill, putting it different places. It's such a beautiful pole, we thought we'd put it near. I mean, it always looks best when it's near a Doral. I put it right near. I have a similar pole. And these are the best poles anywhere in the country, or in the world, actually. They're tapered. They have the Nice top. You know, I don't know if you people are aesthetic. You know, they're the fake news. I don't know about I don't know if they're. But it's a very exciting project to me. And then at 11 o'clock, we're lifting the flag. But we're going to lift the pole now, and then they're going to the other side, get that, and then we're going to do, I think, 2 flag liftings. We'll be putting it up at 11 on here, and a couple of minutes later on the other side. We'll start here at 11. So that'll be very nice and very patriotic. We're doing well and as a country. If the Fed would ever lower rates, you know, would buy debt for a lot less. It's a shame. This guy, do you ever have a guy that's not a smart person? And
Trump was the one who appointed Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Just putting it in there, you could hear him waxing coherently about 2 flagpoles, which again are the least of his concerns right now, or should be the least of his concerns, but seem to be the highest of his priorities. Here's another clip.
It's about the largest you'll ever see, and it's tapered. It's at a quality that you guys rarely get to even put up. They do that for a living. They're incredible people. I don't know them, but I love them. And I would bet that they all voted for Trump. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I think so. But we're about to lift it, and we also have one going on what's called the front or the north. We have one going there, identical. So we'll have one on this side of the building, we'll have one on that side of the building properly placed. In this case, we had a lot of choices, putting it on that hill, putting it different places. It's such a beautiful pole, we thought we'd put it near. I mean, it always looks best when it's near a Doral. I put it right near. I have a similar pole. And these are the best poles anywhere in the country.
He's the friggin' president of the United States. Right now, I mean, again, a war in Ukraine, a war in Gaza, a potential U.S. direct involvement in the hot war between Israel and Iran. And this guy is he won't shut up about flagpoles. Stunning stuff. Here's another clip.
With the rail funding in California, will your recent dust-ups with Governor Newsom impact additional wildfire relief out there? They've requested $40 billion.
Sure, the man's incompetent. He shouldn't have forests like that. You clean the floor of your forest and you won't have any forest fires. You know, Austria has very, very flammable trees. They don't have forest fires because they clean the floors. They maintain their forest. It could affect, you know, hatred is never a good thing in politics. When you don't like somebody, don't respect somebody, it's harder for that person to get money if you're on top. But he's done a bad job.
So there you go. He's saying that because of his political beef with Gavin Newsom, that yes, that the federal government may not provide assistance to a blue state like California. Again, just, you know, don't normalize this. Don't make this permissible. Don't grade Trump on a curve. Close your eyes and imagine if it were any other Republican president or any Democratic president saying something like this about a red state or a blue state. Like if it's another Republican who has beef with a blue state, or a Democratic governor or Democratic president who has beef with a red state. Imagine them saying something like this. Imagine President Biden saying, no, I'm not going to help Florida out. Sorry, I don't like Ron DeSantis. I'm not going to help South Carolina out because I don't like their governor. I'm not going to help Georgia out because I don't like Brian Kemp. Imagine what the backlash would be, and then you should hold Trump to the same standard. If you don't, you're a hypocrite and you're unprincipled. One standard for presidents, irrespective of the parties. And if you do that, Trump will always fail because he's morally inferior. And there should be a political consequence to this. Democrats should sweep in the midterms, and Democrats should start telling Republican lawmakers, hey, listen, don't go down this road because two can play at that game. And we don't want a situation where a Democratic president threatens to reciprocate this sort of behavior against a red state. We don't want to do that. You all wouldn't like it. So you're morally obligated to condemn this from Trump now. That's the message that should be sent. And of course, I can say that because I'm not a politician. But here's another clip.
They don't even have to get permission. They just go up to the auto pen. That's a subversion. That's a takeover of our government. And you people ought to start looking at it. That's a takeover. Not only did they cheat, I guess you saw yesterday came out with China and the license plates, tens of thousands of cards. They used those cards to vote on the second election, my second, the one 2020. Because as everybody here knows, I won that election by a lot. But the only good thing I can say is this is a much more historic term than I think I could have had as a...
So there again, Trump is doubling down on this notion based on conspiracy theories and a supposed evidence drop by FBI Director Kash Patel that the 2020 election was stolen. There is no evidence that it was stolen. But Donald Trump continues to double down on that because he can't accept the fact he lost a free and fair election. And again, just imagine Democrats doing something similar. Democrats don't. Al Gore conceded publicly and privately to George Bush in 2000 when you could make the case that the Supreme Court stole that election from Vice President Gore. In 2016, President Obama, Vice President Joe Biden, and Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton all publicly conceded the election, didn't try to steal it from Trump. In 2020, Trump lost, and he tried to steal the election from President Biden. But then when Trump won in 2024, President Biden and Vice President Harris publicly and privately conceded to Trump, and again did not try to steal the election. So Donald Trump is the only one who has attempted to steal a free and fair election. Democrats simply acknowledge the reality, whether we like it or not. So there you have it, a disastrous press conference in which, again, Donald Trump's focus is on flagpoles because, again, he's a child. He has other things, better things to do with his time, much more important things, life or death things to do with his time, both on the domestic front and the foreign policy front. And he seems to be loitering around, again, on the White House instead. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Again, you could probably make the case that with someone as stupid and ignorant as Donald Trump, the country is better served by having him far away from the decision-making process and deferring to others. But either way, it's certainly a black mark on his administration whatsoever, and people should hold him accountable. Like, this is really what you're doing with your time instead of focusing on getting us out of wars. You promised you'd end all the wars on day one. You said that there would be no new wars on your watch. You violated all of those promises, but this is where we are. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.